everybody, it's Shane, and I don't have any makeup on today because we're going to be trying out a brand new beauty product that I just got in the mail a couple days ago. Over the past maybe month or so, this has blown up and taken the internet by storm. If you don't know what this is called the Silisponge. Now, I don't know exactly what brand it came from. I know when my shipment did finally arrive, it came from China. It took so long to get here. It took, I think, well over a month actually. From when I placed the order to getting the product in my hand, it was over a month. But the weirdest thing is I got one package with this Silisponge in like the clear plastic box, but then I got another package like the next day or the day after that with another Silisponge, but that one just came in a little baggie. So if you don't know anything about this sponge is supposed to pretty much be better than the Beauty Blender, or you know, kind of be competitive with the Beauty Blender. Now, I've been a fan of Beauty Blenders for quite a while. Currently I own the black one, but I had the pink one, I had a red one, then I had a black one, and I've always just been a big fan of them. I've always thought they, you know, blended everything out seamlessly and made my skin look really, really flawless. So just the fact that I already love this product, I may be a little skeptical about this one, but the idea is really, really cool behind it. This is this Silisponge. It's still in a little baggie. I just took it right out of its box. But what's supposed to be different about this applicator versus the Beauty Blender, and I think the biggest marketing technique they had for this sponge, was that the Beauty Blender, because it is a sponge, does soak in extra makeup. So like your foundation, your concealer can get soaked up in here, and then you wash the Beauty Blender and it pretty much your money goes down the drain. With this, it's not a sponge. It's very odd feeling. I know a big joke with this Silisponge has been people trying to use like the bra or the boob silicone stuff to apply it. Ooh, even squeezing it, that kind of looks a little crazy. See, as I'm squeezing it, you can kind of see these little wrinkles in the sponge. But the fact is that this is not a sponge, so your makeup is not being absorbed in it, so it's saving you money. We'll see if that's true. Also, compared to the Beauty Blender, is you actually have to, you know, wash this thing with soap and water and lather it up and squeeze it out, wring it out, dry it. With this, it's supposed to be a very easy clean where you just run it under the sink and boom, you're done. So anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. Let me pull out my foundation and get us started. Clearly, I haven't done my makeup today, but that will be fixed. What's going on there? So I'm just gonna do my makeup as I do every single day. So I'm going to be starting with my Benefits Professional, and I actually just picked up a new one of these. I like these little ones, honestly. I just don't like spending the $30 for the full size. These little $10 sizes do last quite a while. So I always start with my primer and I put it on my problem areas where I have the biggest pores first. So that's typically on my cheeks, on my nose, and on my chin, and then I'll just pretty much work the rest of it right into my skin. Take a tiny bit more for my forehead. For my foundation, I'll be using the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in the color NW15, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the back of my hand first. Now what I'm going to do, because with the Beauty Blender you're supposed to dab it to apply it, with the Silisponge I'm not really sure if you're supposed to dab it, or the video that I saw actually on Facebook, the girl had the foundation on the back of her hand and she was rubbing it in. So I don't know which method you're supposed to use to make this sponge work. I'm also not really sure what side you're supposed to use. There's like a flat side and then a bubbled side on the top. I'm assuming we're going to be using the top. So I'll be doing the right side of my face, or the left side, I believe, for you guys. I'm going to be doing one method where I'm patting the product, and then on the other side of my face I'll be rubbing and swiping and compare both sides of the face and see which method works better. Starting with the side of the face that we're going to be patting it, I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit of foundation and dot it on my face as I normally would. This isn't because I'm specifically using a Silisponge. This is just always how I apply my foundation. First on the back of my hand, and then I use my finger to pat it on. Taking our Silisponge, there is no water on it. I didn't wet it like a Beauty Blender. It's straight out of the package. I'm going to start by trying to dab in the product. This is this is interesting. It feels different on my face. Like, it doesn't feel like a silicone object. But I'm gonna keep patting it in. And I'm trying to only do half of my face. I must say, with the patting method, it's quite uncomfortable. Like, my arm is getting tired really, really fast. And I'm a little bit nervous to get up close to my eye. Okay, this is really, really, really interesting. And then I always take my foundation on my lid, so that's what I'm gonna do with the Silisponge. Alright, I think it's blended. Let me move my mirror closer and get a better look. Wow, that's a mess. Wow, that is not even at all. And I must say, I'm having kind of a hard time getting into like the nooks and crannies of my face. I thought that was a lot more well blended out when the mirror was far away. It's not terrible, but what the heck? That was just some spirit gum left over from yesterday. It's not terrible, but I've seen better results, basically. So before I formulate any opinions, we're going to be starting with this half of the face next by using like the swiping and wiping motion versus the patting that we did over here. Don't mind my eye, it's only super red because I had a red eyeshadow on it yesterday. I was doing a makeup look, so it's not irritated, it's literally just eyeshadow left over. But I still have foundation on the back of my hand, so I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with the other half of my face, where I first pat the foundation. Oh my goodness, I still have spirit gum on my face a little bit. I did an intense project yesterday, let's just say that. So taking the exact same sponge, of course, now I'm going to try kind of just moving it around my face. Alright, this honestly already just feels better. It feels more comfortable. I really didn't like the feeling that I had on my face when I was like dabbing it. It just seemed a little too rough. So this already just feels smoother, of course, and it just seems to be gliding really nicely. So I also saw them doing like circular motions on the one video that I saw advertising the sponge. I truly haven't looked at anybody else's review. Even Bunny did a review on this, and I'm like, I want to watch it so bad, but I didn't, because I really, really didn't want someone else's opinion to affect my own. So this is the very first time that I'm trying it or seeing it done on someone's face. And I'm gonna look a little bit closer in just a minute to see how the application on this side of the face looks. But already I can tell you by just comfortability, this is a lot better too. Car alarm now? Really? It just feels a lot better. It's a lot more comfortable on your face to glide it rather than dab it. Okay. That is 1,000 times better than this dabbing. I'm actually gonna, before this dries completely, I'm gonna try to go and fix this up a little bit. Oh my goodness. Alright. That looks a lot better. Okay. So I'm going to quickly apply a second layer of foundation really quick and just blend it all in using the same method that I was wiping it with. The only thing, as I'm working, I can kind of feel my nail pressing into it. So I have a feeling that after a while, especially if you have nails or just, it's gonna start like either breaking in half or you're gonna start getting holes in it. That obviously I can't tell you for sure because this is my first day using it, but I don't know, I'm pleasantly surprised. I was very, very skeptical and I'm like, really? Like, I'm gonna be using that to apply my foundation when I've been using my beauty blender, but I mean, it's not terrible. Now, I can't tell you if I'm gonna for sure use this instead of my beauty blender. It is cheaper. This was $12 versus, again, the beauty blender being $20. But I'm also thinking about my usual routine. I also apply my powder underneath my eyes with my beauty blender. So I'm gonna test that. I actually kind of forgot that I still wanted to do concealer with this product. So we're gonna try concealer, and we're also gonna try to see if it'll put powder on the way that I usually do, because if not, I'm still gonna need my beauty blender or another tool to apply my powder. So that is just something to keep in mind. I also must say that I think the beauty blender application is a little bit faster. Maybe I'm just slow because it's new and I'm not used to it, because I feel like it can be a fast application because you are just, you know, wiping your face and wiping the foundation around. So I can't say that for sure either, but as of right this second, I can apply it faster with the beauty blender. Next, we are going to put on concealer. So I've been using the Naked Skin by Urban Decay in the color Fair, and I'll just go ahead and apply this as I normally would. I hear it crashing downstairs, which can only mean my daughter is throwing around her toys. Fantastic. I am going to try swiping it again, just like we applied the foundation. Now here is where I think it's gonna get a little bit tricky, because we're getting right up close to the eye, and I mean, I'm actually not having as hard of a time reaching where I thought I would. But I can tell you I'm having a little bit of difficulty keeping the product exactly where I want it to be. Like, it was just kind of coming up on the side of my nose. Okay. So the sponge is not, I mean, now we're getting somewhere, but I'm having a real hard time blending out my concealer. It keeps coming up here. I don't know. And I'm doing the same wiping method that I did with my foundation. That's weird. Let me go in with my beauty blender and see the difference. So if I was just to pat this in, like right up here is where I'm having a real hard time getting, like right around my eye. And with my beauty blender, I'm able to stop right here before it gets to the top of my nose. Oh, that's 1,000 times. That's a lot better. All right, let's try the other eye. Yeah, it was really working for my foundation, but now with my concealer, I'm just having a really hard time. And I have to like use the edge of the Silisponge, which, if you can see, it has a little bit of this like rim here, or this lip here, that keeps catching onto my concealer, which is basically just not giving me an even blend. Oh, beauty blender, come into the rescue. At least for my under eye concealer, I'm not a fan of this sponge. All right, let's try my chin. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Highlight those pimples. Like, you know, with cats that have a tuft of hair on their chin, that's what I feel like I look like right now. Okay, but the chin did blend out quite nicely. Let's try out the forehead. I feel like the forehead and chin would work out nicely because you have a little more surface space, and with underneath the eyes, you have the eyes right there, which is kind of an obstacle. So I feel like, as of right now with the Silisponge, that it's great for like all over coverage, or a large space of coverage, again, like the forehead or the foundation that we did. But I feel like with the nose right now, we're not really gonna get good results unless I'm real careful with it. Because like I said, the sponge seems to like to just go everywhere. It's kind of hard to control exactly where you're blending, although the nose, that wasn't too bad. But it's still kind of going on the sides a little bit, but I don't know why. Just underneath the eyes, I had a really hard time getting it blended. But the rest of my face did blend really nicely with this. So maybe I'm thinking about just using this for my foundation if I can get a little bit faster at it, and then like the big areas of concealer, but just stick to the Beauty Blender underneath my eyes. We're gonna do one more test with my powder, which I've just been using the Airspun powder for a very long time. I've been using this powder, and just like I would with my Beauty Blender, I don't think this is gonna work, but just for experimental purposes. Okay, that powder is not sticking evenly, but we'll see. So I would, I'm nervous about this one. I would normally, oh God, pack it on underneath my eyes. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of working, but I can't get up close to my eyes. So for underneath my eyes, again, I'll be using my Beauty Blender because I like to get right up in there. I'm not giving up hope. We'll try a little bit of powder on my chin and my forehead, the areas that I didn't have as hard of a time with. So we'll pack that. Nope, this product is not for powder. It's picking up the product, but it's not picking up the product evenly, so I'll have like a big glob of powder that I have to try to blend out anyway. So I don't think the Silisponge was made for or can really do powder well, so that's not its fault. I was just doing an experiment. So now that everything is done on my face that I would normally use my Beauty Blender for, I'm gonna finish doing my hair, doing my makeup, getting dressed. I'm not really sure what I'm wearing today, so I need to figure that out first. And then we'll go downstairs, give this a try by rinsing it off, and then I'll give you my final thoughts and opinions about this product. So we're at my kitchen sink, and we're gonna see how easy it is to clean this thing off. So I'm gonna try to rinse it off and see if it just cleans off with water. And it does a little bit.
I was told baby wipes work really well. I watched a review on this already.
Well, apparently my husband did and I didn't, but just with water, we can already still see some residue here. So I did bring down my Cetaphil Daily Facial Cleanser, which is just the cleanser that I use. And usually I'll use this on my Beauty Blender, but I'm just gonna take a little bit of this, wipe it off, and then rinse it off again. I kind of missed the edges. The edges is where it seems that the product is sticking the most to it. I didn't get around to cleaning this right away, so it may be why this is just kind of hard to clean off a little bit. I can still feel a tiny bit of product, but as you can see, it did clean off completely and a lot easier than the Beauty Blender. Okay, so I have a couple of final thoughts about this product. First of all, it's a really unique product. I think the idea of it is really, really cool, and I like the fact that, you know, they thought of the Beauty Blender as being a sponge that sucks up all your products. So with the Silisponge, of course, it doesn't really suck up your product. But the thing that I found about using it is that the product still stuck to the sponge. So it's not completely eliminating that problem, but it's certainly saving a lot of product at the same time. Personally, would I continue using it? I think I am gonna start using it for my foundation and stuff, just because I did see that it did save on my product, and my foundation is not cheap. Any high-end product is not cheap. So if I can use the product to almost save a little bit of money on my foundation, that's one thing. But for the product to completely replace my Beauty Blender, for me, that's just not gonna happen. I did find, you know, under my eyes, I really did struggle with the Silisponge, and I still had to go back into my Beauty Blender and fix it up a little bit. So I'm still gonna use the Beauty Blender, but I think I'm gonna use them both combined. I love how easily it did wash off. That was definitely a plus. You know, with the Beauty Blender, it's a little more tedious. It takes a little more time. You have to let it dry. With the Silisponge, it just kind of made that process that much quicker. But I felt like I did still get really beautiful results, so I am quite happy about it. I just think it was a little too hyped up. I felt like everybody kind of wanted to be the devil's advocate and be like, well, this product seems a little gimmicky, but we'll give it a try. Just as I did, I was a little bit like, but we'll give it a try. I'm always looking for new products to play around with, so I'm definitely glad that I got my hands on this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my first impression and review of the Silisponge. If you did, please go ahead and leave a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any new videos, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!